Yeah, it's CC, CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that can teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass to your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black-owned firm, but we ain't all black.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday, Motivational Monday. I am here today. My name is Constance Carter. If you're just now tuning in for the first time, I am Constance Carter, and I come on every night at 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. And I love to have engaging dialogue and conversations with people about very interesting topics, but really that really align with promoting your inner self, really around building the community, really around mindset shift, and really how to have you live your best life. Somebody already said, hell nah. Tay Livingston already said, hell nah. But this is a real question. But before, I want you guys to come on in. I see thousands of people are on right now. I want you to come on in and just put where you're from. Tay Livingston, where are you from? Everybody that is coming in right now, under the sound of my voice, where are you from? As you know, if this is not your first time tuning in, this is a dialogue and not a monologue. So I enjoy and we welcome the conversation. We welcome the comments. You know how we do it if you're here all the time. We welcome the comments, and I'm asking you the same question. So I actually have a couple of ladies that are going to be on here today that actually have made it work. But I want to ask you, for everybody here, I see Tay, question for who? Tay's from Stockton. Somebody's from Elk Grove. Mary Davis is from the UK. And that's what the thing I love about this show is we have people that are listening and watching from all over the world. We have people from the UK, from Australia, from Austria, from South Africa, all the way from Chicago to Mississippi to California. And so Atlanta, Georgia's in the house. Y'all crazy. You guys are crazy, but this is what I love to hear. Folks are chiming in, talking about they could not absolutely be friends with their ex's new love. First of all, they couldn't even be friends with their exes, right? Let alone their ex's new love. Before we get started with the conversation, I want to make sure that you're liking, that you're subscribing to Fly Nubian Queen, and also Nobody Works Harder Than Constance Carter. So make sure on Facebook, you go over to Facebook and you subscribe to Nobody Works Harder Than Constance Carter and Fly Nubian Queen, and also on YouTube. Also, you could happen to find me on Instagram at I am Constance Carter. Okay, I put out a lot of great content that's going to help enhance and increase your life, help you to grow your money and not blow your money, and just all kind of stuff about how to live your best life. So let's get right into it, because this is some really, really good, juicy stuff. But I want to know, would you become friends? Dorothy said no. Aaron said, for what? Tay said, you said close friends. Somebody said, wait, go slow down, Charles. I just want to read these comments real quick. Tay said, you said close friends. Facebook user said, yep, the last girlfriend of my ex, we were super cool. She would color and braid my hair. I needed a girlfriend too. And then Erica Danielle said, I don't even want him to mention her. Oh. Scorpio Cancer said, mine turned into a hateful beast. Sorry to say. Inspired One said, why? Why should I? Alexandra Lewis said, as long as she's being respectful and treating my kids right, we good. We Gucci. Tay said, I can be cool and respectful, but besties, hell nah. Everybody's like, why? Why would you want to be friends with your ex's current girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, love? Let's talk about it. So let's bring the two young ladies on that we're going to talk to about this. My ex's girlfriends and I are like sisters. I love it. I think if you can get on and be friends, I think that's a beautiful thing. So let's talk about it, ladies. So who do we have here? We have Taylor and we have Andrea. Taylor and Andrea, how you ladies doing?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. Hey, Andrea's in the car right now. So thank you guys for joining us. All right. So I got to know the story. I got to know the juice, because this is people are interested in hearing. So Andrea, Taylor, how did this happen?
Well, do you want to start, or?
I want to know, like, how are you? Okay. So who has the best? Who has the ex?
I do.
Okay, so you're with Andrea's ex-boyfriend, husband, what?
Boyfriend, father
Okay.
of a child, however you want to look at that.
Don't want to say baby daddy? Okay,
Baby daddy.
okay. So you are currently with Andrea's baby daddy.
Correct.
How long have you and Andrea's baby daddy been together?
It's been at least like 8 or 9 years.
Andrea, how long were you with him before Taylor was with him? Andrea, are you muted? Unmute yourself. You have to unmute yourself, Andrea. Are you there? Andrea, can you hear me? You're still muted. So Taylor, while she's getting unmuted, can you tell me, do you know how long she was with him before you guys got
they dated in high school, and I want to say shortly after that.
So for how many years?
Maybe like 3 or 4 or so.
So they were there. Okay, so they break up. How long after they broke up did you come into the picture?
That's kind of hard to say because I didn't really involve myself in their whole situation per se until we actually started dating. And then we kind of then I realized, okay, he has a daughter. We waited about a year before we introduced any of that. And then that's kind of how that evolved. So I didn't really get too far into, well, how long were you guys dating prior to me or any of that kind of stuff? I know they dated in high school, but to me,
how long were they broke up before you two got together?
Oh, how long were they broken up? Mm-hmm. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like a year or so, something like that, somewhere around in there.
So when you first came into the picture, was it a little awkward, or did you guys immediately? It was.
It was definitely awkward. It wasn't. We weren't great in the beginning for a while, so I don't want to come on here and make it seem like, oh, we just hit it off and it's been great. It wasn't always like that. It evolved to that.
What was it like when you guys first when you first started dating?
When we first started dating, it was a little awkward only because I had never dated anybody with a kid. So there was a lot of things for me that I didn't understand and that didn't make sense to me. And so it was a little bit hard for me just because it's like you're putting yourself in a situation where you're dating someone with a child and you have to understand they have a child with this person. They're going to be around this person. That person doesn't go anywhere. They're always going to be there. So it was really hard for me to try to really understand that. And, I come from a family who I have a stepmom, and my stepmom and my mom are like really, really close. But it's different when you're the actual person in the situation.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same way. My stepmom and my mom are like besties, and like they all my dad, my mom, and my stepmom, they all get along really, really well. But I mean, they knew each other, when they were kids, and then my stepmom ended up hooking up with my dad like 14, 15 years ago. So it was like a really cool situation. So for us, it's cool. It's always good when you could still, at the end of the day, get along with the person that you have children with, because it makes it easier for the kids. And Andrea, can you unmute your phone yet? Andrea, can you unmute? Okay, so I'm going to ask you, Taylor. So, like, when you guys first, so tell me about the awkwardness when you guys first got together.
I think it was more so awkward for me because she had already had the relationship built with the family. She had already been around. They already had their views on their situation, and I was kind of like the new girl coming in. So to me, it was like I'm coming in. I'm already kind of a shy person anyway. So it was just kind of, it was just weird. Like, you're trying to come in and you're trying to be friendly and you're nice, but they already have this relationship built with this person. So
what mean to you?
No, she was never blatantly rude ever. I didn't have anything like we've had our run-ins, but it was never anything like if we were in the same room, she would never be blatantly disrespectful to me. if anything, it would probably be like, well, we'll just not speak. But it was never anything like I ever felt like she was purposely trying to offend me or anything like that. I didn't have that issue.
Was there ever any like baby daddy drama? Like, was there ever like a situation with her and are you married to him now?
We're not married.
Okay. Is anything with her and him that was contentious that caused it to be any tension with you as well?
I think in the very, very beginning, when we started dating and things like that, we were all fresh out of high school. So everything, we were still living our lives. They had a baby really young. They had a baby at like 18 years old. So by the time I met him, his daughter was turning 1, I think. And so it was a weird place for everybody because I tried not to involve myself in that situation. So it's all into interpretation of, is what he's telling me really what it is, or is it not, and things like that. So there were a couple situations where we did take some breaks. I told him I'm big on family. So I'm like, you just had your daughter. That you don't know if it's not going to work until you try it. You know what I mean? So go do what you got to do. If it's meant to be, we'll link back up later on in life. And that's how it will happen.
Andrea.
So.
Hey, I'm here. Sorry, you guys. I was trying to hurry from work, but I'm here.
It's all good. Thank you for joining us. So from your perspective, when Taylor came along to the relationship, how did that make you feel? Were you little, how did you look at her when she first came in?
Oh, it wasn't good.
From the beginning? It was or was not?
Was not. We were young. I think we were like 18 years old, I want to say. And who the hell knows anything at 18 years old?
Yeah.
I almost want to say 100% I was a bitch. I probably for no reason, just angry for my own reasons. Yeah, I just remember like it kind of always being tension, and it wasn't always it wasn't always her and I's thing. When you add a man in the mix, sometimes they just don't know how to navigate the situation either. So it felt like it was like a lot of messy at 18. This is like way brand new though.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was going to say is the man is really the central piece who has to really be the one to kind of navigate this and lead this. And if the man, because I have a friend who, I have several friends, but I have one friend in particular, her baby daddy left her for somebody else, but he was so damn messy. He would tell the new chick, and I knew both of them. He would tell the new chick all this horrible stuff about the other chick, and they were both really nice women, but they never could get along because he kept up the mess, right? So it would, if the man has to really be the one to kind of set the tone with the entire relationship. How was baby daddy in all of this?
I'm like, you want to take that? You want to take that one, Taylor?
I don't know. It was weird. He never really brought his business with their issues per se, really, to me. Unless it was like something that I needed to comment on. But I tried to be very neutral about the situation because, again, a lot of the stuff is hard for me to comment on because I don't have the child with you. And so it was like built up frustration of whatever their situation is. And some of the times he was wrong, but I didn't have a problem telling him you are wrong. Whether I was upset with her at the time or not, whether we had our own situation or not, when you're right, you're right, you're wrong, you're wrong. And there was a lot of times that I had to go in and tell him he's wrong, And so I think that, like he said, when he's the one that has to navigate and do everything, it makes it a lot more difficult when it doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
that was that plays a big part in that.
Yeah. What about from you, Andrea? From your perspective, how did he handle the relationship, the dynamic with the three of you guys?
Not like I said, not so good in the beginning, but we were all really young. Yeah, it was all really new. And I think that honestly, we were all learning to navigate the situation kind of together. So could it have been a little better? Yeah. But do I truly believe that he did the best he could? Yeah. I mean, the best that an 18-year-old man can do, or 19, 20, even, it's difficult trying to navigate. First off, her and I both have two very strong personalities. So I can only imagine, I mean, trying to, just be in the middle of both of that.
Yeah. How long did it take before the corner turned for you guys to start getting along?
It took a while. It took a
Like,
long time.
How
It took a very long time.
years, months, what?
Oh, it took some years. It wasn't months. It
sure,
definitely
years.
took some years for it to unfold. It was a lot of, now that I look back on it, it's a lot of things that I understand that I probably didn't understand then, especially now having a kid on my own, or, having a kid of my own. A lot of the stuff that would cause her frustration, or that was expressed to me that she was frustrated about, makes total sense now. But before, I'm like, well, I understand why she's mad, and it's not even that big of a deal, and any of that kind of stuff. So a lot of it makes a lot more sense. So I would say it took for us, I didn't meet their daughter until she was about 1 year old. I don't even think we became cordial and okay to be around each other until she maybe hit preschool or kindergarten.
Wow.
So it took a while.
So what was it that turned the corner for you guys so that you guys did start getting along?
I think that we got to a point where we realized we all have one common goal. And at the end of the day, you have a kid, they're like sponges, they see everything, and all we want is for her to be happy. At the end of the day, this all has to do with her. She sees this, she has to go from household to household. I know how important it was for me and how easy it was for me to know I could go visit my dad and my stepmom and not have to feel weird coming home because I just had this great time with this other woman, and I don't want my mom to be upset or feel any type of way. So I think once we got on the same page and realized, and we had our own conversation about certain things, it kind of made it easier for us to kind of coexist. And I think we started to realize neither one of us are going anywhere at this point. And so if we can make it easier and be a family together,
Somebody said, how old is your daughter, Andrea? And then how old is your child? You guys both have daughters?
No, we share a daughter. She's 12, and then we each have our own son. As funny as that is, my son's 5, and 3J's what, 4?
Yeah, my son is 4.
Oh, okay. And so they're all like siblings. Well, even the boys.
Yeah, they get along really well. They play together. They hang out. So
honestly, I figure he calls me aunt. I'm like, we'll explain that much, much, much later.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
So Andrea, for you, did it seem like when she came into the picture, because did you guys break up on bad terms?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it wasn't working. So I wouldn't even say bad terms. It just really, it was like oil and water. It just really, it wasn't working for us. And I don't know if it's just age or what at the time, but it just wasn't mixing. So there was no real true bad blood, like nothing, I guess, serious happened between like either any kind of betrayal or like that on a serious note. Not that I can remember, but sometimes we choose to remember our own narrative. So unless he knows something different, I'd have to hear that from him at some other time. But I just think it just wasn't working. Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, you have to be really, really mature, because I see a lot of folks in the comments are like, why? No, hell no, no, F no, I don't like that. And it can't be just a one-sided thing. So it has to be both people, because, Andrea, you could be the person that's, the nicest baby mama in the world, but your baby daddy could be married to a total, or be in a relationship with a total bitch.
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with that, and the child suffers. Or you could be the bitter baby mama, and you come and you could be the nicest person in the world, Taylor, but if she's not willing to be amenable to the situation, then it's not going to work. And so for the both of you to say, hey, listen, we ain't going nowhere. At the end of the day, it's about this child. To be mature enough in your early 20s or in your late teens to say, it's really about the child. That's huge. That's huge. So what's it like for you guys today?
It's great.
I was about to say, don't pull up on her because I'm pulling up too. I'm just, I mean,
No, it's good. We probably talk to each other more than they talk to each other. We pretty much deal with everything, and there's no drama. It's peaceful. We're around each other a lot. So, I mean, I don't have any complaints. This is where I wanted it to be anyway. So, I would say it's great.
Andrea, are you dating anybody right now?
I'm married.
Oh, you're married. And so how does he fit in the mix?
Well, that's a whole nother story, a whole nother show, Constance.
Tell us about it.
Well, he's an only child, so we'll start there. And so and it's kind of been teased, but we have, I guess, an unorthodox relationship. Our family, as you can see in the comments, is pretty unheard of. So sometimes people just can't grasp the understanding that, we're really truly a blended family in every sense of the word. You know what I mean?
I remember one time on one of our shows, we had a discussion around what would you do, Robert and I, what would you do if you're with somebody and their ex came up to them and gave them a hug? And I was like, I'd be cool with it, I guess. Like, that doesn't bother me that they hugged. And so him and a bunch of people were like, no, hell no, I couldn't. It would be a whole problem. We'd be fighting. And I'm like, because of a hug? And they're like, yeah, that's total disrespect. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I'm going home with you. So you mad because I hugged my ex? I'm going home with you. I don't understand. But people, just like you said, people are that way. So when you're over somebody, I think you don't really trip off of that stuff because you're over it. There's nothing like I believe that you could be friends with your ex. I believe you could be best friends with your ex. I think it's healthy, especially when there's kids involved. So I think it's interesting that you married somebody who is not necessarily on the same page, and that kind of how does that make you feel with what's going on over here?
We're going to table that, Constance. I'm trying to tell you, it's a long story. But I will say that it's still a hurdle that we're trying to get over. It's still
How long you been married?
Fairly new. It's been 1.5 years.
Oh, okay. So he's just getting in the mix. You guys have had this dynamic for 12 years, 13 years? Yeah, 12 years. So you guys have it kind of figured out. He just has to figure it out too. Now, did he have any problems with it when you guys were dating, or did it just like kind of pop up now since you've been married?
Well, what it is just, I guess it was more limited contact. Then it just, it just wasn't a whole bunch of, he could choose to not show up. And so it was that we were dating at the time. Whereas me being such a full-time mom and really, really involved, that's kind of the standard for me. So that's just kind of where I am with it. Either you with this, because at the end of the day, my kids are prime. Either you with this or, hey. Yeah.
So what's it like? You guys spend like holidays together, stuff like that?
Pretty much. Christmas, Thanksgiving, we'll go to her family's house. She'll come do family stuff with us. So
Halloween.
So now it's a tradition. Halloween, we just do everything together at one. It's easier because in the beginning it was we split the holidays. She spends half of the holiday with her mom. She spends the other half of the holiday with her dad. And what was happening was it was starting, you can tell, it kind of sucked for her because she wanted to spend more time here or more time there, or she didn't want to go here or she didn't want to go there. And I'm like, well, if we just do it. We're like, let's just do it all together. And we can do both houses together. And it seems to be a little bit more easier for her. Now that it's that way, she doesn't feel like she's being tugged in different directions and things like that. So
So what advice would you give to other people who are trying to do the same thing? Because obviously it's hard to navigate. That's not something easy that people have to deal with. And sometimes, people are in situations of, infidelity, and it's a little bit more complicated. But what would you say, or what advice would you give to people who are kind of trying to navigate the same thing?
I would just say be open-minded. Again, every situation is different. You know, some people, if the kids aren't involved, this is kind of you know, you don't have to do it. It doesn't make sense, really. You don't need to be best friends with the ex when kids aren't involved. It's kind of unnecessary at that point. But I definitely say be open-minded. You got to look at it, despite of what your relationship was with that person, what you guys went through. At the end of the day, what it boils down to is your child. What makes them happy, and you know how you want them to grow up and see things, and you know, because especially at this age, you don't forget anything. You remember all of it. And so I would definitely say just be open-minded and you know.
Yeah. What about you, Andrea?
I just say keep the kids at the center of it. Just like Taylor just said, you know, they don't forget. And I'll just say that it makes for a really full child. It really, really does. Like, you know, I hate to brag on my kid, but I got a good one. And I think that really comes with her being able to be in a healthy relationship and not feeling like, you know, because I hear really, really bad stories about people, you know, and mom's talking bad about the dad and daddy talking bad about the mom, and the kid is just really stuck in the middle. And they don't understand that really, really affects their mental health and their ability to, you know, kind of how they see the world.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's made her really well-rounded. She kind of knows no other way. And not just her, but like everybody, you know, our families. And when you're thinking holidays and stuff, you have to think about everybody aside from you, you know, so it makes it easier with my mom and my dad, and, you know, everybody's copacetic and we can all, you know, it's consistent. And I think that that's super important for the kids. I would say be graceful as well, you know, and understand that it's, you know, you have to give that person grace and realize that this is an unorthodox situation. So things aren't always going to be, you know, as they should. I mean, just as Taylor has mentioned, sometimes we can't always see. Sometimes she couldn't see where I was coming from as a mom, but now 100%, you know, she's able to see things a little bit different. So I think grace is really important. And a lot of time, Taylor, I will say just kind of kudos for her. She kind of stayed out the mix. Because there's been times, you know, me and her dad don't agree, you know, on plenty things, you know, and kind of staying out the mix until it's appropriate for her to come in. And then it's like, when I, you know, when the advice is needed, like, well, I think this, or coming from, because I didn't come from a blended family. My parents are still married today. So a lot of time I cannot see into that. Whereas Taylor has a different view because she kind of grew up with having a stepmom and you know, having her real mom and being able to navigate that and seeing it done well.
Yeah.
Because they too have a really good relationship. So, I mean, it's good that she had that upbringing because she was able to kind of bring that into our situation.
Yeah. And that's so cool. What about your, well, first of all, your daughter, she was an only child for about 7 years before the next child came along? So she had love from everybody. And then how is she doing as being a big sister, you know, having two siblings from different parents? How's that?
She has a migraine.
All the time.
She's a 5-year-old, she's a 4-year-old, right?
She's the only girl.
Yeah.
You know, she's very much so spoiled. She does a great job at being an older sister and looking out for her brothers, and you know, so I think she's doing an amazing job, but they're very much so getting on her nerves. For sure.
Agree. I mean, honestly, you know, we put a lot of pressure on her. That's just the reality of the situation. Because, you know, with them being really family oriented in their home and us being family oriented too, it's kind of like with your siblings, you know, that's all you got. And so we kind of instill that. So it's help your brother do this, or, you know, help him do that, or can you do this and can you do that? And with us being on the hustle and bustle, it couldn't have played out no better. It's like having a little small nanny that you can pay $50 a week.
There you go. Now, how about baby daddy? How's he doing with all of this? I mean, is he loving it? Is he like really, really happy that everybody's getting along really well?
He is like, I feel like he's doing great because he doesn't get any complaints.
Yeah.
He doesn't have baby mamas in his ear nagging him about stuff. He doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to figure too much out. We handle it, and then we involved him when he needs to be involved at that point.
Yeah.
It was probably really rough for him in the beginning, and stressful. And like she said, we both have very strong personalities. So we're both just adding about something probably, and he's just stuck in the middle, and it's difficult. And luckily for him, it worked out. So he doesn't have any drama that he has to deal with, which I feel like there shouldn't be any complaints there.
Right. I'm telling you, I mean, the man really sets the tone in this, and he really could have ruined this, had he been really toxic. So kudos to him too, because the two of you guys couldn't have worked without him, at least being, a little mature, trying to at 18, 19, 20, like doing the best that he could at that age and kind of keeping the drama as much as he could to a minimum, because it could have been so much worse. So I commend not only the two of you, but I commend him as well as being mature enough to be able to, two really good women and have them in his life to be able to, first of all, picking really great women, but then keeping you guys, to where you guys are able to get along. I think that's great. So it says a lot about him as well. I want to go to some of the comments over here. Somebody said, when everybody is focused on what's important, it's a win-win, especially for the children. More love all the way around. Son Daisy Rashida said, yes, I'm friends with the girl my baby's father cheated with me on when my youngest daughter was 9 months. Whew. They don't have children together, but she has 2 young boys of her own. My daughters and her boy are the same age. They love hanging out together. I allow her boys to come over. They are in karate together, and I take them to classes. They hang out with her when she's at the father's house, and I take them to parks, schools, events. They're kids and just want to have fun. I think that's so cool. I don't know that I could be friends with anybody that my spouse cheated with. However, I think that's great if they could do that. I think that's awesome. Somebody said my ex's new girlfriend started to down my son by telling my son that I will be a prostitute and only be grateful for my back.
Well, that's intense.
I'm sorry, y'all. My face needs deliverance. I just gotta stop moving my mouth.
Never T said, I respect this so much. These kids are blessed, and y'all Black women, yay, let's keep setting the standard. I absolutely 100% agree. Let's see. Gossip, drama, talks, that's not what Black needs to hear. I don't know what that's about. I don't have time for exes because they are exes for a reason. Felicia said, my view is that people never are totally over their ex, especially if they have children together and put their feelings aren't faucets you turn off and on at a whim. So people ain't always over their ex, and that's true. And I think when you're truly like over your ex, and obviously Andrea had to really be truly over him. That's the reason why it was able to work, because they were just really over each other. Now, when there's feelings still involved, it gets super hard and super intense. And I could imagine even at 18, even though it didn't work, there probably was still some small feelings when initially. Yeah. But you had to at some point had to grow out of that and get over it and move on with it and figure out what's best for the child, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, totally get it. So, man, this was a great conversation. You guys, man, you guys are commendable. We need to see more of this in our community. We need to see more people just like the two of you. It's not the easiest thing to do, but for the both of you guys that could actually make this work in situations like this, where you have in an era of social media and, just baby mama drama, baby daddy drama, just all the negativity that's out there. It's so good to see some positive Black women who are loving on each other, but who more importantly have put the kids first. Because as you said, both of you said, it's about the health of their mindset and their health, and them growing up to be strong and healthy people. So guys, thank you. You guys have anything else to say before we get out of here?
No.
Nope.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for being on the podcast.
It was awesome.
Great. I appreciate it. This was an awesome conversation.